and welcome to the player free agent preview of the recap. The BBWL will be back in 2023, but not before the free agent draft. 14 free agents this year, a huge free agent class, and all of these teams with an opportunity to bolster their roster. We'll start with the Eagles in the number 1 spot. They went offense last year, really still need some pitching if they're going to make it here down the stretch. Grizzlies and Monsters will follow with back-to-back picks for the Monsters after their Tabor Mountain Bulls trade for Greg Holtailing last year. The following teams will then fill out the rest of the order in the draft. And let's get right to it with our first free agent, Evan Kuhn. 3 things to highlight here with Kuhn. The first one you can see is defense. All right, robbing a homer there. One of the more well-rounded players in the draft. Strength is another big piece to be noted with Kuhn. Probably not only one of the strongest players here in the free agent draft, but probably in the league, as noted by his toughness as well, taking a ball right off the face. Kuhn will look to likely go in the middle rounds of the draft. Next up, we have Nick Monk. This could be a high-risk, high-reward type scenario in the draft. The 2005 graduate is Monk, and we don't have a lot of wiffle ball information video on Monk. However, resources have provided us with some old clippings where it looks like Monk at one time was an elite hitter at his level. He is a guy that has been very eager to get into the league. However, this could be a risk type scenario with only so many artifacts on Monk to provide you with. Next up, we have Tyler Strock. This will no doubt be a conversation topic for many teams. Let's tell you why. Strock, tremendous amount of wiffle ball experience in the BBWL tournaments. The first thing we're going to highlight here is his energy. If your team needs a pick-me-up, this is going to be your guy. Strock provides tremendous energy to go along with some plate discipline, which you know in the BBWL leads to hits, as noted here. Strock has played in several NTR tournaments, November to Remember tournaments, dating back to 2018. And he can do it all, including pitch, where he has been known to get players out and has worked with BBWL All-Star Blake Wiegert on the sinker drop, as you can see here. So Strock has some tremendous upside for the team willing to take an opportunity on him. Consistently has had clutch performances throughout his early on career. And it's something that should be taken very seriously. I like him in the early part of the draft. Maybe a team like the Monstars. Next up, Hunter Willits, a unquestionable, no doubt, number 1 pick. Many people hoping he falls in the draft, but all the experts got him at number 1, and here is exactly why. Pounding the strike zone, dropping down in different arm slots. He just put down 2 BBWL All-Stars in a more recent NTR tournament, and he can gas it up. He's got a hard slider, and although you see him with some home run swings here, he is more well known for his pitching, as he has dominated the competition from the hill. And if he can continue to hit, as seen here, that only puts his stock at a different type of level. This is what BBWL experts have as a potential all-star right from day 1 of the 2023 season. If the Eagles can land a guy like Willett with their high-powered offense, they could be looking at a tremendous season with Willett on hand. Willett also a strong and solid defender. Up next is counterpart Joey Parentino, and I didn't note in the most recent free agent there with Hunter Willett, he was a 2-time NTR champion, but Joey Parentino, not 1, not 2. But yeah, you got it. 3 tournament wins. No other player in BBWL history has done that. And let's take a look at why that has been possible. Parentino is without question an elite hitter here in the draft. He has proven that fact each and every year in the BBWL off-season tournaments. Parentino can hit the long ball, and he has done it in clutch situations. Maybe some experts think it's due to a little bit of luck, as noted here. He gets a single off of driving a ball off of a ball. Other experts would say his ability to hit and pitch, which we won't see a ton of in this video. I think pitching is the one thing in the BBWL all teams can use, and Parentino brings the potential to be a left-handed arm in a rotation. And there are not many lefties here in the BBWL. Parentino can get some outs on the mound while also flashing some pretty solid defense here as well. But again, we'll revert right back to Parentino's ability to crush the long ball. He has an incredible amount of home runs in his time spent in the BBWL off-season tournaments so far. And this is probably one of his biggest ones. He had a walk-off finals homer to make the Wine and Skill Warriors NTR champs. Any team with an opportunity to pick Parentino should carefully consider adding him to the roster. Next up, we have Jacob White, and I'll be honest, this is a guy I would caution all teams not to pass on. And although the video highlights that you see here will not show some of White's best attributes, in fact, he was a fill-in back in the 2021 season for the Troy Battlehawks, so he does have some live in-game experience, but I'll be honest, his first experience did not go well. Of course, it was at the time against one of the best teams and the hottest teams in the BBWL, but I'll tell you this, White is an elite hitter with tremendous bat speed and power, and although you won't see a lot of video here, I will tell you this, he can throw it and he can hit it. He's a guy to consider. Looking to add a little toughness to your roster, add Max O'Connor, as noted by this visual. Max does have some BBWL experience, and experts consider him one of the top hitters here in the 2023 draft, as noted by both these videos. No doubt a contact guy, doubles, triples, and singles, but he can also hit the long ball. And I think one of the things that makes O'Connor a little bit more unique than some of the other players is his plate discipline. Not afraid to take a pitch, and as you know in the BBWL, this is key. IBBs are going to be key. All right, and he has faced some top pitchers in the league. So look for a guy that can get on base, but without question, hit the ball, put it in play when needed. All right, some strength here from O'Connor, as well as you see him muscle the inside pitch over. But the one thing to be noted as well, O'Connor is not a guy that's going to bolster up your pitching roster. He is not known for his pitching. So a hitter, yes. Pitching, not so much. Oh, man. This next guy, no one has played more wiffle ball than Mason Brown. He has also won several tournaments, including a 1v1 tournament, the only one known to date. And Mason Brown won it. Also, the history of the BBWL. He's played in some of the earliest tournaments dating back to the 2018 summer, where he went yard off of some of the older guys at the time as a middle schooler. But Mason can do more than just hit the homer. A pitcher as well, as you see the drop-down riser here. Mason can get batters out. And don't forget, Cam Brown, his brother, was an all-star. Eric Brown, his father, was the BBWL East MVP back in 2021. So, wiffle ball in this guy's bloodline. And he can swing it. He also is a high-energy guy, so you get a lot here with Brown. Some hitting, some pitching, some energy, and the dude's just a competitor. So I highly doubt many teams are going to pass on Brown. You can see here a lot of video and a lot of upside if a team is to draft Brown. Next up in the draft, we have Avery Pascucci. Without question, one of, if not the best athlete in the draft. And another college baseball player to add to the BBWL. Pascucci, a St. Rose baseball player, but a strong history of baseball success. The dude can swing it, and as I mentioned, a high-end athlete that I'm sure a team like the North Greenbush Wolves will be looking to add, as he is highly connected to several players on that team. But no doubt a guy that teams should not sleep on here in the draft. Pascucci also brings some potential swag to a roster in need. Next up, we have avid fisherman Justin Hughes. And we note that early because his commitment has been a question thus far through the 2021 and 2022 season. However, a team willing to take a shot on him should also know working at National Grid makes it tough for him to make gains. However, if you get him, he can play. An instant home run threat to your roster without question. Has hit the long ball on several occasions. And for me, one of the biggest upsides is his ability to get batters out. He's got an electric fastball, one of the hardest throwing players in the BBWL. The Monstars have recently fallen and been taken over by new management. Joe Milanese and Aiden McHugh will be taking over the Monsters, and maybe they could land a guy like Hughes back on their roster once again. Has since been filed for free agency. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Sleeper alert, Jake Keller next up here in the player preview. Jake can swing it, but not a guy with a tremendous amount of wiffle ball experience in the BBWL. However, he has been seen at several tournaments as a spectator, almost as if he has been scouting the competition to see where he might fit in. So if you're looking for an elite hitter, you're no doubt going to get it. And Jake Keller, he is someone to be considered. Next up, we have one of the top pitchers in the draft without question in Wyatt Thorson. Thorson, a 6'7" righty who can sling it in there. Fastball, curveball. Just take a seat back and watch here. The highlights show you without question that Thorson has a potential to be an elite pitcher in the BBWL. Knows how to get batters out and does it with confidence. So Thorson could be a fun pick. There are several teams in the BBWL looking to add pitching to their roster. But wait no longer, because you have an opportunity to pick up an arm here for the 2023 season. And in many cases, teams are a pitcher away from making a championship run in the BBWL. Thorson could be your answer. Next two players in the draft are fairly unique because they have already logged significant BBWL experience. First one, Gavin Moore, former player of the April Park Rebel Stars for at least 1 year. The team will take a step back due to some work constraints and time availability. So that puts Moore on the market. His first career AB against one of the better pitchers in the BBWL. He went yard, and he continued to hit throughout the season, including some of these huge comeback hits. So a clutch performer, no doubt, for Moore. He can swing it. All right. He can also get guys out, which makes him a key asset to many teams looking to fill out their pitching roster, and he can do it from the left side. His teammate Timazio also going to be on the market. from the BBWL Rebel Stars as well. And Mazzio is the only free agent that at one point was an all-star in the BBWL. So this makes him very marketable. He can crush it. He can swing it without question. He's done it not only in the BBWL, but at the college level as well, making him a very, very, very tough guy to pass on in the 2023 season. Mazzio can also pitch for any team out there, and he has gotten some big batters out. So this guy gives the #1 spot a little bit of a push. Hunter Willett looking to be the #1 overall draft pick, but you'd have to think that Mazzio has got to be up there with his experience and his success in the BBWL. There you have it. That is the player free agent preview 2023. Going to be an incredible season with the draft coming in the new year. We'll see what teams look to do in order to bring their team one step closer to a BBWL championship. And that's all we have here on The Recap.